Welcome to another episode of Golden Nuggets Tea and Tales Season 2, powered by Husby, served today by Della. Welcome to the show, Della.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are no stranger to a podcast.
Not at all.
Your whole Insta grid is you on podcasts. And I think it's such an important thing for real estate agents to do is get themselves on social media. It does have its plus points and it does have its negative points. How would you say social media has impacted you both positively and negatively?
So I think that branding yourself is really important in any sales field. Very important when you're dealing with clients. Of course, we're all competing for
the same pool.
So it's good to create a social media presence so you can attract foreign investors most. The positive is obviously the brand awareness I get as an agent, that I get, the respect that I get from my colleagues from other agencies, that I can get the stock I want really quickly. The negative is that people actually put really mean comments. Like I did a video where I read all the really mean comments. Like they love talking about my nose and just so many comments that they put. People really think that we're just getting in all these great leads. It's somewhat true. There are times that I've closed deals because of social media, but it's more to build myself. So when I am dealing with someone, they can go and look at my previous deals, who I am, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay.
And the mean comments and stuff, it is mostly I'm not at the stage where I'm getting any mean comments.
Trolls, good.
I'm not the same. However, I think looking at the stuff that you put out there, you do challenge, you are quite, I don't want to use the word controversial, but you make your point and people don't like people with an opinion, I find.
People don't like women with
an opinion. Interesting.
So that's
okay. Well,
let's
go there. Let's go there. The men can get away with saying whatever they want, but when it comes to a woman voicing her opinion,
everybody has a problem.
Everybody has a problem with it.
Men can sit, have a beer together, and close the biggest deals. The trust between a man and man is always there. Now, with women, I may have the same client that a man does, but it takes so much more effort for me to build that trust.
Yeah.
And I have to put so many shields in front of me, I can't go to dinner. I can't do this. Sometimes they just want to be buddies with their agent.
True.
I can't do that. I have to keep it really professional. Think of Sirhan, a man. Firas, femme, man. So most males can outrun any women because if I'm too opinionated, if I go on telling men what to do, they're not going to like it. Every time I'm talking to a really high network individuals, I'm tiptoeing around his ego.
Right.
Whereas
so you're trying to still remain delicate and feminine.
While being assertive enough to tell him what to buy, but not telling him what to buy, telling him what to do without telling him what to do. Men can literally say, no, bro, that's
yeah.
If I say that, I'm not a credible agent. But if a guy says that,
it's like, oh, cool. Thanks,
okay,
bro.
I won't buy. Yeah, thank you.
And that's a good point you made about dinners because I was on a women leadership panel last year, International Women's Day, and they were saying women don't have the same advantage as men, which you quite rightly pointed out, that they can go out and have a beer. They can go out for dinner, wine and dine, but we have to draw the line. They can go to the
club and hit on girls together.
Yeah, we have to kind of draw the line at 7 p.m.
Yeah,
otherwise,
coffee max.
Otherwise, it's not a good look. So those kind of male relationships or bro-ships that are formed, we don't get to form those.
Yeah, but yes, we can argue the other way that some clients that I may have them approach me because I'm a woman that looks a certain way, that is a certain age, etc., etc. So it does open doors, but I have to work twice as hard of a man to prove myself.
Right.
Some men may never get that many clients or followers or whatever because of the way they look, but they don't have to worry about the stuff that I have to worry about. Should I wear this? Should I say this word? I have to make sure the wife likes me, if the wife doesn't like me, why is she calling? I have to be so professional. And honestly, when I started real estate, I thought I'm going to find a husband. I was like, I'm joining real estate.
Too. My mum, when I was 20 years old, she was like, oh, you will meet so many people, you will find a husband.
Yeah, no, that's, I am a man now, 3 years and a bit later. Yeah. But literally, I thought I would find a husband. So I don't blame anyone, but I'm saying if you want to be a successful boss girl and you have to be a man and you have to be on it.
Okay, maybe not turn into a man, but you have to have masculine qualities, or you have to reflect masculine qualities. So let's just first bust this myth that if you go into real estate, you will find a rich husband.
You will. Sorry.
It's been how many years?
It's been 3 years and a bit.
Okay.
I have lost more men than I have gained, because the more money you make, the more you don't need a man, the more you tell men to f off and you do your own thing and you don't take of anything.
Or it's quite
further away from where I started, you know?
Then because it's quite intimidating. They might be a little bit intimidated. A boss making her, good money.
I've been asked how much I make on dates. Literally, like I've been asked that question.
Do you tell them?
And I say, if you really want to know, go on my Instagram and multiply all my souls by the commission you think I make. But it's ridiculous.
So, and actually, one of my other guests was kind of pleading to men to say, get married at 30, have a baby at 31. He just got married. He was engaged at 29, married at 30, engaged, had a baby at 31. I was like, what was it that made you? And he was like, well, she's supported me. Essentially, she's supported. And I think that there's that perception of Dubai, rich bachelors, gold diggers. That's the two. Everyone
supply and demand, though.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, but I think a lot of, if you look at football players, everyone gets married really early. All their agents make sure they're married so they can focus on their career. If you want to focus on your work, and for a man, or also kind of a woman, more for men, because they don't have to come home and honey, how do you feel? We have to take the burden of having a deal of 60 million fall apart and then go home and be like, sweetie, I cooked dinner. So all the guys that go home after, it benefits men, because they can get their shit together really early, and then they just
have
focus,
a good woman supporting them.
Which is why there's so many married men in Dubai that are successful. They got married early, and now they're cheating as a result.
Can I just say something, actually? First of all, 95% of my guests are males. Number two, of those 95% that are male, 95% of them are married. So I just thought about it the other day. I was like, is this like a recipe for success?
Yeah, it 100% is.
In order to get to CEO level, founder level, you should be married, or you need a good woman.
You need a good woman. Yeah, a good woman. Yeah, 100%.
Point, good woman. Okay, so let's
Here
talk about...
Here
she is single available. Her handle is down below. Slide up in the DMs. Okay, and we're just proving
it's not
the point.
Selling Dubai, it's selling myself. No, I'm joking.
Selling Della, seller. Okay, these masculine qualities, before anyone signs up for this package, what are these masculine traits that you refer to, that you say you had to turn into a man?
I'm on the phone 24/7. I'm either taking a call, no, if it's 9 and I'm at dinner, my partner needs to understand that if my big investor calls,
I'm taking that call.
I'm my deathbed, I'm going to take this phone call. And I've had comments
you never switch off.
Yeah, you never switch off, you work too much. And I'm like, do you want to pay for how much this deal is, and then I won't do it, people just comment about your career without providing any alternative. But other masculine things are I always have to have my guard up, so I'm not really as vulnerable, because women in business can't cry, women in business can't do this, women in business can't do that, and I'm assertive because I have to be. I'm negotiating all day. I have to be assertive, so
That's
I can't
what you
go.
do.
Yeah, it's what I do. I used to be a really soft person. I still am a soft, emotional person in my personal life, but it's just really hard to maneuver between them. Or it has to be someone really special for me to even get that vulnerable, because at such a young age, alhamdulillah, I've become successful enough to be able to sit with men and so now the person I date needs to be so assertive and strong and powerful and successful that for me to be I will bend down backwards for you, or bend over backwards for you, whatever the saying is. So it becomes a bit difficult to find this balance of
But maybe it's a case of, okay, you're outside dealing with all these power men that actually you just want to come home to maybe a creative or a musician, or
a successful musician. Why not?
It still has to be successful.
They need to be, they would obviously need to be really successful, because they need to be really ambitious, because I'm really ambitious. And that's a trait that I look for, someone that motivates me, someone that, if I go on a date with someone, and I have gone on dates with people where the guy, I know what people own when I meet them. I've looked at them. owns like multiple villas in Emirates Hills, Jumeirah Islands, blah, blah. And we're just going for coffee. And the person is an absolute idiot who brings nothing to my life. And I will just never see them again. I'm like, this is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone smart and ambitious and go-getter and fighter and, you know, all of that. And a lover.
And a lover. And what would you say, so going back to like women in real estate, what would you say, there have to be some advantages? Because the guys will be listening to this thinking, oh, but you've got it easy with X.
Yeah.
Or, what are the plus points of being a woman in the industry? Outfits and shoes is one of them.
No. No, that's just expenses I have to carry.
Yeah.
I think women, the only thing that they have is that they could probably, if we're cold calling or if we're texting, that opens doors easier.
The profile picture.
The profile picture. Some of my clients have told me, like, if you were to send videos of yourself talking, because I talk well, apparently, that would be an advantage. So I think the biggest one is
the entry.
The entry.
Okay.
Yeah. But then to prove yourself, then you need to really know your shit.
Okay. Got it.
Or else I'll just flirt with you.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Thank you very much for that, Della. Let us know what you think in the comments. Be nice.
Please.